My name is Jacob Wagner, and today I will be talking to you about the effects of concussions in high school sports. Concussions are one of the most talked about injuries in football today, with more studies coming out on how concussions affect the brain and how they have long-lasting effects. People are being even more cautious today with how they treat concussions. First off, I would like to talk about the basics of a concussion and how they happen. And a concussion occurs when a hit to the body or the head causes the brain to snap, shake, or move in a jolting fashion, where it can cause chemical changes in the brain and it can cause damage to brain tissue or other parts of the spinal system. 25% of concussions are linear force because the head is meant to sustain linear force better because of the strong place in the front and the back of your head. 75% of concussions are angular force, which are hits to the side of the head that make your head twist and can cause your brain to kind of jolt and shake in a weird manner. 70% of concussions occur in the actual events, which means that only 30% happen in practices, and which, as I will talk about later in this speech, this is one of the problems that helmet add-ons simply are not one of the reasons to solving this problem. Recently, I've seen a concussion firsthand. One of my teammates experienced a concussion in a recent game. He is now doing fine, but his risk of getting a concussion is greater than ever. As impactful of an injury that a concussion can be, some products will help, but not get to the main basis of the problems. Today I will be explaining to you the cause of concussion in sports. I will be explaining to you what are the contact rates in the sport, the effect of helmet add-ons in reducing concussions. First off, I would like to say that football isn't the only sport that has concussions. It is a main majority because of the large amounts of students that participate and how it is a greatly compact sport. But there are also many concussions but there are also many sports that take up a big percentage of the concussions. Football amounts to 50% of the highest sports. The highest concussion rate sport for women is soccer. This is because that when they go to head the ball, they do not have as strong neck or head support as males do. So when they hit the ball, their head can shake and jolt in weird manners and cause them to have a concussion. In similar sports, women were twice as prevalent to having concussions than men because men have stronger neck and head support than women do. That helps with rotational impact. Football has a high number of concussions, so people are trying to figure out how to stop them. Then this is being done by developing new helmet add-ons. Helmet add-ons help in lowering impact, but cannot help in lowering concussion rates in most scenarios. Helmet add-ons are not allowed during competition, which is one of the main problems with them, considering that 70% of concussions happen during competitions. With that, and then the fact that they only help with 11% of linear force, which is a small percent of concussions, and only 2% of angular force, which is the majority of the problems, but is such a small percentage, they do not help at all, really. The Guardian Caps is one of the biggest helmet add-ons that you could find at the moment. It is basically a sleeve that you put over the helmet that has extra padding and helps with stopping linear blows and adding more padding. This again does not help with the rotational force and with the rotational forces and cannot help the brain stabilize better. In conclusion, most concussions cannot be prevented by add-ons or other equipment because only 30% of concussions happen in practices, and this is the only time that you're allowed to use any of these add-ons or anything else. A concussion is more likely to happen by a blow to the head that shakes and jolts the brain. Only a small percentage of concussions come from a linear force that is a straight on blow to the brain. 70% of them come from rotational force once again. Females are more likely to have a concussion because their neck and head are less supportive because they are not as strong in that area. I hope that you remember these facts that I have showed you today, and sometimes just because things say that they can help in certain areas, they don't always have to get to the root of the problem.